Damn, they pooped right there again. Dude, please go away. For the sake of this podcast.
It's the first one.
Please. No, it's getting close. James, can you scare him?
This is awesome B-roll, like bloopers.
Are you recording?
Bloopers, yeah.
Oh, you've been recording, huh?
I just turned everything on.
Oh, this is great.
That's funny.
This stupid ass. Go away. You're not part of the show.
And it's good. That's just the first time to know what you learn the mistakes. For next time in the future.
That way, please. We already avoided the bird poopings. We don't need geese quacking. But I guess this is what you get for being next to a lake.
It's not good.
What is going on, everyone? We have a very special guest next to me. And this is a very exciting moment because this will be my first ever podcast recording in person with someone out in Mother Nature. We're out here in Kennethon State Park, and we're here next to Gwenmore Lake. And this overall park is just a gem. You got the lakes over here. There's a man-made river stream back there. Another notable landmark is the Martin Luther King Memorial. And there's also just trails for hiking and trail running. And there's also a Japanese Zen garden. And if you're not too familiar with the park, it's located in the Baldwin Hills Mountains, so very close to Culver City and also LAX Airport. And if you haven't been here before, I highly recommend you check it out. It is a gem. It's very underrated. But to bring it back to my guest right next to me, he is quite the epic individual and outdoor adventurer. He goes by the name Cisko, but I like to call him Cisko Inferno, aka Hiker Fighter, aka Behind the Sherpa, aka probably other names I'm going to come up with at some point, because he's just an epic person in general. So Cisko is a SoCal hiker, peak bagger, mountaineer, ultra trail runner, and he's just next level. And it's just really exciting to have you here, man, because, this is my first video podcast ever, right?
Yes.
And as you can see, we got the beautiful lake behind us.
So beautiful out here.
And, what do you think of the views here? This is your first time, yeah?
Yeah, first time here. I love it. It's nice, peaceful. This is what it's all about, being out here in nature and just being calm, relaxing, therapeutic. So I'm glad to be able to be your first one to do this. So thank you so much.
My man.
Thank you.
And why are you rocking the mask? Why are you wearing the face mask? Let the people know.
I guess, when it started, for me, it was just my own thing. Like when I first started the hike, a friend of mine told me, hey, bring a face mask. It's going to be windy up there. And I was like, oh, shit, I don't know what to wear. And I just found my Halloween mask that I use for Halloween. And I decided just to take it. And then I wore it, and he told me, oh, that's pretty cool that you wore that. It's like, you should keep that. You should do that. Should be like your little thing, as hiking the mountains. Be different, be discreet. And I was like, yeah, why not? Just do that. Have fun with it, and just be very mysterious kind of guy, which I guess I am. So yeah.
Misterioso.
Yeah, misterioso. Sure. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm dying right now because the teeth are moving and the mask. But let's bring it down. Let's show the people.
This is what I look like. So it's like
this is what he looks like, guys.
So my friends that already hike with me know how I look like. So for those who don't know how I look like, this is the face revealing like that. So
and I gotta tell you, welcome to the Just Right podcast, my brother.
Thank you.
Officially.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Do you remember how we first met?
The first time has to be when we did your group hike that you did. Well, your group hikes, the Just Trek, when you did this Sandstone Peak.
Oh no, you forgot.
The sunset, right?
There we go.
The sunset one.
Sunset Peak in the San Gabriel Mountains.
San Gabriel Mountains, yeah.
For Jaguar Hike's, was it Jaguar Hike's birthday?
Oh, it was his birthday. Yeah, it was his birthday. For Sal's birthday, it was his first time meeting him as well. So that was fun with meeting everyone.
Yeah.
I usually don't really go as much as group hikes. I'm very like an introvert, like just to be to myself. I like just small, close hiking friends, close groups. I don't like to be like in group hike, but it's very rare. But I like to make sometimes special occasions to be involved in the hiking community. Like, hey, like I'm here. Like I like what you guys are doing, supporting, doing all the cleanups and the trash cleanups and everything. So I like to show my support like that. So it was a good moment to meet a lot of hikers out there.
Yeah, I noticed when Cisko shows up to your group hike, that means he really wants to be there and that you really do support that org or hiking group or organization. I did notice that about you. You're very intentional about what you attend.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like it has like I like when it's something very special, meaningful, like for group hikes are doing it, and I want to come and support it because I know, for myself personally, like I like to do my part, pick up after your trash, making sure you bring what you brought, all your stuff. So it's like very important for that. Respecting the mountain, that's the one thing to me that I like about. So.
Yeah, I think it's just so important. Your point that as we get deeper into our hiking or outdoor journey, that we become stewards of the land, right? Explore and take care of the land that we hike, that we trek. Because I remember for myself, I didn't really care too much about Mother Nature, but when I became a hiker, then I had a relationship with the mountains, with the trails, with the parks, and then I started caring. But it wasn't until like I had hiking that I had that like direct connection to Mother Nature.
Yes.
So I feel you on that.
Yes, exactly.
And what was special about meeting you at Sunset Peak was you introduced yourself to me. Yes. And it was because you were a Just Right podcast listener, and you were just a curious individual about like my process with the podcast. And then you also expressed interest of being on the show one day.
Yes.
And look at us right now.
Yeah,
We're right here and right now making it happen.
And I thank you so much because like for me, my personal goals, I have like a bucket list that I want to do. It's pretty much what you want to do before you die. So it's one of my bucket lists was to do a podcast. And I never knew when I was going to do a podcast. I don't know what kind of show I was going to do. And when I saw you were doing the podcast, this was an opportunity for me to do that kind of podcast. So I thank you for letting me, join your podcast. So thank you so much.
Oh man, dude, it's an honor to have you, man.
No, it's an honor for me because you're like.
There we go. It's an honor for both of us.
Yes, thank you so much.
So check it out. I know we don't see each other too often, but I gotta say, Cisko, that some of my fondest memories just throughout this whole hiking journey, this whole outdoor transformation that I've been on the past 5 years includes you. And I'll never forget, like, this is more of an off-trail moment, but I'll never forget during the We Explore Earth movie night when we sang karaoke, Lincoln Park, in the end. You chose the song, and I was like, oh, you really want to do this?
You're surprised. They were like, oh,
okay.
Old school.
And you were like, yo, do it with me. And I was
Let's
like,
do it. I need to do it. I need like someone else to sing the verse song, and I sing the chorus.
Yes,
and
yeah.
I was just like, and you're surprised. I was like, that's Linkin Park is one of my number one favorite band to listen to. Whenever time I'm hiking the mountain, I listen to that band, all the albums. I love that band so much. So it's like, so I had to choose that song, and I just.
Oh, it's the most epic song.
Yeah, growing up, as a teenager. So it's one of my favorite songs. So I'm glad that we were able to do that, and I was really like excited because. I never did like a karaoke like that, like a duet, and we killed it. I think we killed it.
No, so I'm Filipino, and supposedly I'm supposed to be karaokeing all the time, but I don't really.
Oh, you don't? Oh.
So I got really nervous when you asked me, and I was like, okay, well, I got to just live up to my heritage.
I was nervous too, but luckily I was really high, so the anxiety was away from it, went away. So I was just like, I was really chill, but I am really nervous. I really don't do karaoke, so I just sing in my car. I'm pretty sure everyone sings in their car, just singing. But when you're out in front of people, it's like it's different. It's scary. But I was really high and I was chill. Like, just let loose and just do it. So
you
cool.
let loose, man. You were singing / screaming,
everything.
I was rapping the lyrics, and we put on a show for the We Explore Earth tribe. Let's just say
we gotta do it again. I would like to do that again.
Someday. Yeah, I keep joking on social media, like whenever they host more of these movie nights, I'm like, yo, next time we go, part 2, Linkin Park in the end by Cisko. And Just Trek or Just Rock. And it'll be an encore performance.
Yes, definitely.
So even just from that memory with you, like that was just such a memorable off-trail moment that was like forever embedded in my memory. And then you made a dream of mine come true, which was guiding me and leading me up to Mount Baldy for my 15th summit via the Mountaineers route as a winter ascent at the top of the year. And for that, I can never forget it, dude. Like I'm forever grateful for you, and that's another forever memory that I'll always cherish that you made happen. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that.
You're welcome. And that's what I like to do with other hikers. That's why I guess behind the Sherpa, I guess I like meaning like behind the name is just like a lot of friends tell me I'm like a Sherpa, always helping my hiking friends lead a mountain they never done, making sure they're safe. I'm the one gonna make sure that we're gonna make it to the summit, prepare everyone, what to bring and everything. And it's a good feeling helping another hiker friend do something they never done, push themselves to the next level, push themselves challenge themselves, and I like to see them, I guess, struggle, what they're doing, the pain,
Sure.
because
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly what I've been through.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful feeling to see that what they're able to do and make it to the summit. It's a special memory, it's an experience to do. So that's what I like to do with friends. So
Elevation is definitely your recreation.
yes, it is.
There's something special about elevating others up to the peaks and summits that we've been to before, so that they can experience the mountain bliss, they can experience the views, and just like the majesty of like that mountain, right?
Yes.
There's
yes.
just something so magical about bringing others up. It's very like fulfilling, very rewarding.
Yes, very rewarding, and I like that feeling, especially when you're giving it your all and everything, pushing yourself, and just watching you doing every step. And I'm like, encourage you, come on, Justin, you can do this. Come on, and I'm making sure you're okay, everything's good. We're take it easy, nice and slow, and make you feel safe and comfortable. It's all about that. Safety is number one priority, like making sure we hike together, we summit together, and we're down together. So we make sure everything's good.
That should be a T-shirt.
Yeah, you should make a T-shirt. Yeah, because from my personal experience, I've had friends that they get that summit fever, unfortunately, and then when it's bad conditions, something happens not safe, they want to keep going, and I tell them no, we have to keep. And I've had arguments with friends like, no, we have to get down, and they don't listen. Like they just want to get to the summit, and I get it. Want to get to that summit and do it, but sometimes, Mother Nature has other plans, and you have to like respect it. That's why we said to friends, you got to respect the mountains no matter what. You might be prepared, you might be the strongest person, but something can always happen. So another reason, you have to turn around if something, you can do it. So.
And this is why you're a very good guide. You hear that, guys? Do not have summit fever.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that means, it's the obsession of reaching the top of the mountain, no matter what the cost, and ignoring all the danger thresholds and how your body feels. So it's a really important concept to internalize. And the best guides out there truly understand that and express that to their fellow hikers, because shit's real out there. It's life
real.
or death. And
Life
if you don't
or
turn
death.
around a lot of times, you might get hospitalized or you might die.
Yeah.
Like, real talk.
And from my experience, like just speaking of death, I have lost 3 friends of mine. Hiking friends that I've known. Technically, I can say 4 another person too, but 3 of them was Lisa. She's an OG on 52 Kite Challenge that I used to we used to hike together. Another one, Michael. He's another hiker that he's an OG, and just recently was a Nemo, and it's been a year. So from my experience, I have that,
Exactly.
so it's fortunate. But
My condolences, man.
thank you.
I know we're going to get into some of these special individuals.
Yeah.
So before we get into a bunch of topics with you and all your outdoor adventures, I want to learn more about your outdoor journey and dig deeper into that.
Okay.
So I want you to take us all the way back. What was your first hiking memory?
The first hiking, okay, I would say, because back, I guess I was doing small little hikes. Like, I thought like have you hiked Mount Riberdokes in Riverside?
No, where's that? Okay,
It's
so
the
actually,
cross.
where are you from originally?
Originally I was born in Pico Rivera,
Okay.
in LA. And then when I was like 10, we moved to San Bernardino. So now I'm like I guess you can say I've grown living in San Bernardino.
Okay,
in
gotcha.
Area Mountain. So I'm in San Bernardino. But I usually just do little small hikes, baby, but usually I would do Mount Riberdokes as a hike.
Riberdokes.
Riberdokes. Yeah, Mount Riberdokes in Riverside. And when my friend told me, let's go on a hike, I mentioned that hike. He told me, no, that's not a hike. I'll take you on a real hike. I was just like, okay. I was like, sure, take me. And he just took me one of those like unnamed uphill mountains. And I was struggling really bad. It was like round trip 4 miles, and the elevation gain was like about 2,000 elevation gain.
Okay.
In 4 miles.
Oh, wow.
4 miles. It's a short, little, steep, very steep hill. Under 2,000 elevation gain.
So going up 2 miles, you hit 2,000
Yeah,
elevation.
it was 1,000 elevation gain per mile.
Oh, God.
So it was very, very difficult. And I was like really struggling bad. I mean, luckily I was kind of still like in shape. But my friend took me. It's not like a peak. It has no name for the
What
peak.
general area was that in?
And San Bernardino by
San
Highlands.
Bernardino,
Yeah.
okay.
So hopefully one day I'll take you there. You can check.
Make me suffer too.
To know it was my first hike. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
We made it to the summit, and I was like, whoa, this is a real, like, I really struggled. Like, this is what a hike is. Like, yeah, man, like high elevation gains, steep mountains, and that's where you get that, that's when I felt like, whoa, like, I can't believe it. Like, this is what it feels like, to make it to the top. And then I was like, and I would tell my friend like, what other hikes can we do? And he's like, dude, look around you. All these mountains. You got the San Bernardino Mountain, the San Gabriel Mountain. I was like, and I was born in California, so I was just like never hiked the mountains or anything. And I was just like, oh shit, like we can do these peaks? Like, yeah, you can do them. And he was just naming the mountains, like you can do Baldy, San Gorgonio, the popular ones, Cucamonga,
the major peaks.
And he was just naming all these that he's done. And I was like, oh shit, like I gotta do these. Like I gotta hike these mountains. And that's where it started. And that was the year 2014. And then when you mentioned like you can do these hikes, he said there's a challenge. There's a challenge in 2015 that someone started, which was a 52 hike challenge.
Yes.
It's basically you hike once a week for 52 weeks. And he told me you should sign up for it so it can motivate you to keep hiking every time. And it was a perfect timing because it was going to be the first year that my friend Carla,
shout outs to Carla.
Carla, she did it, and Philip too, both of them. They were gonna and start the challenge, and I joined the social media. I made another Instagram hiker fighter because I was using my personal IG, and so that's when I decided I want to do the challenge and do once a week, and that was my my commitment, dedication to do it. So yeah, that's how I started.
That's a beautiful challenge because it's not about the hardest hike you do. It's about the consistency of it, just getting out into Mother Nature weekly, once a week for 52 weeks.
Yes. So it's like it's a good way to know, okay, I got to do a hike. Any hike doesn't have to be any hard, like you said. It can just be any hike to do and just enjoy it once a week and just to get out, disconnect. So yeah, so it's like I'm thankful. I'm glad that they started that challenge. Because with that challenge, I wouldn't not known about that. I wouldn't not met so many hiking friends.
Yes.
And the community, it's just so wonderful, the experience that I've been through till now. So.
And what's so wonderful about the 52 Hike Challenge is it's a massive community, and it's also very complementary to the SoCal Six Pack of Peaks Challenge.
Yes, yeah.
Because one's about the consistency, and the other one's about really pushing your physical and mental fortitude to the limit and summiting the major peaks like Baldy, Gorgonio, and so forth, right?
Yes.
So I think it's cool that those two challenges exist, and looks like they both originated in Southern California.
Yes, both of them. The person who started the SoCal Six Pack Peak Challenge was Jeff Hester.
Jeff Hester.
I've never met him, so I've always wanted to meet him, but I've never able to meet him.
Me either, yeah.
He's done like those SoCal peak party challenges when you completed it, they had parties, but I just couldn't make it to those challenges back in those days. But hopefully I can to meet him and thank him too, because those the challenge, the original Six Peak challenge was Mount Wilson, Mount Baldy, Cucamonga Peak, San Gorgonio, San Bernardino Peak, and San Jacinto. Those were the original ones. Now there's like a bunch of new challenges that he added, like doing either Ontario Peak or doing a Strawberry Peak, or there's other challenges that he added. I'm guessing maybe people couldn't on winter season. Maybe they couldn't do it, and they can just do other challenges instead.
There's like 18 options now.
18 now, yeah. It was just crazy. Like that's a lot, but now I just remember from the original 6. So yeah.
And to go back to that unnamed hill or peak where like that was 4 miles and was 2,000 feet elevation. So that was the moment for you where you were like falling in love with hiking, and that you knew that it was going to become like a major part of your like identity moving forward. Was it at that point?
Yeah, at that point. That's what I guess you could say. That's when Hiker Fighter was born, right there. That's when I named that mountain the Hiker Fighter Trail.
Oh, really?
It's my little personal, like my little trail,
Hiker Fighter Trail.
Yeah, so that's like my trail that started from there. It wasn't Baldy. It wasn't like all these popular mountains people have done. It was actually this unnamed mountain. My friend took me. That's been to me, yeah. So
we got other people who want to be on the podcast. All these geese, so ridiculous. All right, so this is actually the perfect segue because you're mentioning a bit of the origins of Hiker Fighter, right?
Yes.
So we got into your backstory of your beginning hiker journey. Like, what's the story behind you creating these 2 Instagram accounts, Hiker Fighter and Behind the Sherpa, which was originally Behind the Hike. But I think you changed it because you liked what I said.
Yeah, you said it, and then other friends told me, like my friend Daisy told me.
Yeah.
Friends that I helped make it to the summit. They tell me you're like a Sherpa. But hiker fighter, the name, how it started, people think, the name automatically, you think you're like a fighter, like a boxer, MMA fighter. And I will assume that. I would assume that if I see someone's name, I think, oh, he's probably a fighter and he just likes to hike. But for me, the name, what it meant is like, I'm like fighting for like, it's a battle. Every day it's a battle. When you go out in the real world, in life, it's a battle to fight, your stress, your depression, your anxiety, trying to cope with reality. It's just to maintain your mental health. I think for me, I've always battled depression my whole life. So I feel like that what it meant to me. I'm hiking the mountains, but I'm also fighting for my depression. So that's what it meant for me. And I put those words together, and I liked it. And it sounded cool too,
Yeah, hiker fighter.
Yeah,
Like when I first saw that, when I came across that profile on Instagram, I was like, "Oh, this guy's probably super hardcore." And of course, I started looking through your Instagram feed. You're on top of all these 14ers, on top of all the tallest peaks in Southern California, and you're always wearing that mask that you wore at the beginning.
The war mask, yeah.
I was like, who is this guy?
Who's mysterious? And I loved it because when I wore that mask in the beginning, I wore it for so many years.
Yes.
And for a long time, I kept it very low key, like behind the mask and like not knowing who I was. It was just a fun. I enjoyed it because people were like always curious, like, is he gonna take off the mask? Or what he's gonna do next? Or what hike? They were always like, everyone was watching me what I've done, and I always had a fun time doing that. And then when I meet friends and hike with me, and I reveal myself, it's like, oh, this is how you look like, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just a regular guy, just wearing a mask. It's funny to me.
It's a good outdoor gimmick. I like it.
Exactly, it's a gimmick, and it's
actually, it's not even a gimmick. It's a very practical piece of outdoor gear.
Pretty much, it does help a lot. When I'm out in the mountains and it's like windy, anything helps me for the sun. Covering my face, I use that all the time, so it's been very useful for me. So
yeah, you were rocking that way before the pandemic.
Way before before the pandemic. That's kind of funny you mentioned that because back then everyone looked at me weird, like, hey man, like this guy's weird wearing a mask all the time. And now, when the pandemic happened, everyone had to wear a mask and everything. Keep 6 feet distance, and now it became a normal thing, and this is kind of funny to me because I've been wearing a mask for so long.
Yes.
And it's just kind of like, damn, it's weird how the world has changed and everything.
Yeah, I was just like,
I still wear this mask till this day. I'm still gonna wear it, just for fun.
Oh, dude, I always bring whatever everyone calls a neck gaiter, buff face cover, because I learned this from the trail running community. On a lot of these long, challenging day hikes, you sweat. It's very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
So people typically don't have a towel, but the neck gaiter acts as a towel to wipe the sweat off your eye.
Yeah.
So that's why I always bring it, and it's been like this hiking hack that has just served me tremendously.
Oh yeah, it helps me so much. Yeah, exactly. So,
So on this show, I always want the listeners to discover new places to explore, whether it's a new route, new destination, new peak, new mountain, right? And you have done a ton of hiking, not only in Southern California, but just in California overall. So I'm really curious to know, Cisko, what are your top 3 mountains in California, and why is each a favorite for you?
Okay, so number 1. Well, there's no orders, just.
I mean, if there is, feel free, but you don't have to name them in any particular order.
I guess I will say I guess for the first one, I would have to say Mount Whitney. Mount Whitney.
Oh my goodness.
Mount Whitney is my. I have a special. It's very a special personal mountain to me. It was my first 14er mountain that I accomplished. 2015. It was the first year when the 52 kite challenge started. 2015. That was the first year that I did. That was my first 14er. I was just like, I've already bagged all the 6-pack peak challenge, and I was like, what's next? What's the next challenge? And I just Google like, what's the highest peak in California? I just Googled that, and it's showed Mount Whitney. I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, I need to buy a map. I need to do research about it. How far is it to drive? And, what's the conditions and everything, the snow conditions. And I actually did it in March, winter season. March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was your first time doing it?
In the snow?
A mountaineering ascent.
Yeah, on the main trail I did. And it was a great experience, but it was kind of bad at the same time because usually you have to start like early morning, like at least at midnight, 1 in the morning. I started like at 7 a.m. and the trailhead.
Oh hell!
I
no.
was because I came late. I came late driving to the location, to the Whitney Portal, and I came. But it never crossed my mind. Like it's just like because I kind of felt like I was kind of fast because it just said, "Oh, it's 22 miles." It's like okay, I can do that. You know, I've done Cactus to Cloud, and it's about the same distance. But I didn't think about the snow how it's gonna take me longer to do that.
You did it via the main trail, not the Mountaineers route.
Not the main Mountaineers route. The main trail, yeah, the main
Okay.
trail, yeah.
So you went up the 99 switchbacks.
No, I went up the snowshoe.
Oh, the
on
snowshoe. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, because it's there was still snow on the 99 switchback, but I went through the snowshoe. That was the only way to go up there. I started at 7 a.m. Went, just hiked all the way, just on my own. Luckily, I saw one hiker out there. He was right ahead. I ended up catching up to him, and it was his first time doing the Mount Whitney too. And we talked, and we were like, hey, do you want to just hike together, make it to the summit together? And he was cool about it. And so I made a friend up there in the mountains. You always hike when you hike alone. You always make new friends up there.
I want to stress this point. When you hike alone, that's what's so special. It gives you the opportunity to meet other people.
Yes.
Rather than if you were just with another person or a group, because you feel like bonded or tied to those other people.
Exactly, yeah.
When you're by yourself, you feel more open,
Yes.
to interacting with the people around you.
Exactly, and you feel like okay, you have a connection because we both want to summit, and we both want to do it, make it to the top. So it kind of helps when you find somebody, it makes them feel like they want to push themselves and do it. And he was determined to do it, and luckily he was some experienced hiker as well.
Okay.
We made it to the summit like late too. It was bad. We was late. Made it to the summit like around 4 p.m.
Dude, that's so late.
Yeah, we made it to the summit late, like 4 p.m. When we got there, we celebrated. We were happy and just like congratulate each other. I actually cried. I'm an emotional kind of guy. I am very like sensitive, emotional, and I was crying just because I did this peak and it was a 14er and it was just challenging. You've done it. You know how what you experienced too. So it's not an easy hike. For those who do it, like don't make this seem because that I've done it so many times. It's easy. Every time I go do it, it still kicks my ass. But doing it the first time, it was very special because it made me realize how stronger I was. Doing that peak.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously coming back down. Right from the trail crest coming down, we had to come back to snow, and that's when it started getting dark already on us. And that was a challenge for us because it's dark. Once it's dark, it's so hard to navigate the location, like the trails and everything, especially in the snow. So
that happened to me.
Yeah.
Because remember from my story, one of the girls got injured.
Oh yeah, you told me.
And I was stuck at trail camp for like 3 hours, and then we had 1 hour of light back, and then we had to trek down into. And this is like a real wilderness, guys.
Yeah, this is like, so the
serious.
same thing. We went down to and took us longer to in the snow, and at the high camp patrol, where people camp out.
Yeah.
It's like it's you can kind of get lost a little bit in that area because it's like especially in the snow because there's no trails, like there's so many footsteps and it's really hard to navigate. And luckily, I downloaded the maps of the GP, the trail and everything. The guy that I met didn't have no maps and everything, so I was the one kind of a little bit more prepared, for the worst. And then we were trying to navigate, the route, and it took us like almost less than an hour to find the route because I was just like tired and just out of it. Just the high altitude got to me too.
Of course,
the high altitude
14er.
The 14er. Luckily, I made it to somebody without like bad to sickness, but coming down, I felt it. Of just feeling weak, tired. Everything felt like slow motion. So I was just not like in my head. Like I just felt like confused. Like
yeah, Whitney will do that to you, and
Yeah.
Whitney is a really special mountain. So what is the second and third for you?
So the second for me, I would have to say Denali. That's Alaska, but from California. For California, I would say Iron Mountain, obviously. Iron Mountain.
You're crazy, brother.
Iron Mountain would be the best, one of the best experience. And it was I like to say it's my first time doing Iron Mountain. It was an OG friend of mine. Her name's Anna. Her IG is Anna. Anna and Max Loves to Explore. She's an OG, so shout out to her. She's one of my first hiking friends that I hike with. So she me and her, she decided to do Iron Mountain. She heard it from some other friend, a hiking friend that did it, and he was saying how hard it was and everything, but she didn't believe it because she's a badass hiker, and she knew that I like challenges, and she invited me, let's do Iron Mountain, and I didn't know Iron Mountain anything. I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
And this is not the Iron Mountain in San Diego,
No, that's the San
guys.
Diego.
It's the Iron Mountain in the San Gabriel Mountains. What's the claim to fame of Iron?
Man, it's the claim of fame. I think it's the ultimate sufferfest hike that you struggle. It's like one of the top 3 hardest day hikes in San Gabriel Mountains.
For sure.
So yeah,
Very
definitely
isolated. Very
no
steep.
no water at all. The elevation gain is like about over 7,000 elevation gain.
Yeah,
and
around 7,000. It's like what, like 15, 16 miles, something like that?
Yeah, round trip. So it's not an easy hike, especially during the summer. It's a lot harder.
So we're all describing it like this. So wait, what about it specifically makes it a favorite for you?
For me, what makes it I like it because, it's like when you really struggle doing that mountain, it brings out, I guess, the best and the worst out of you. The worst is like you're you're just complaining, you're mad, like fuck. Sometimes you get out of your head like fuck this shit, like why am I here? Like sometimes it's like you just get so upset, like angry, like man, like
Yes.
you're just like you're in the middle of the mountains. Like sometimes I lose my mind, like why am I here? Like I'm like fuck, and then but then I realize it's like no, this is helping me, this is healing me, like this is, I have to do it, like. And once you make it to the summit, you just feel alive. You feel strong. You feel like you can do anything you want to do. You put your mind to it.
When you went, so that last section, when you see the granite rocks and you're about to summit, right?
Yeah.
And you see the W15 marker in the distance for your very first time when you did it, what went through your mind?
I was like, oh shit, is this it? I was like, because I seen the picture of that, the pole, like the W15. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we made it. And this was, what's crazy about this one? We made it late too as well. We got there like around 5 p.m. to the summit. We started like at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my, please tell me you didn't do this in the summer.
No, it
Okay,
wasn't
good.
the fall.
At
It was the
least.
fall season,
Okay,
so it was
just making
good.
sure.
Yeah, the summer, like I definitely would have turned around.
Yeah.
Luckily, we did in the fall season. The only problem is like the daylight was a shorter time, so we made it just to the sun, just for the sunset, just in time. We took the picture. It was a beautiful experience with my friend Anna. We celebrated, and then we had to hike back down. And most people forget, like hiking back down is like one of the most toughest things to do, and also the dangerous, because you're tired, you're exhausted, and coming down can take a toll of your body as well.
Especially that mountain.
Yeah,
because
that
it
mountain.
is steep AF.
Yes, very steep. And as we were going down, like most, from my experience, I guess most people who hike Iron Mountain would fall. Like there's some steep sections that you will slide down on your ass. If you never, most of the time you will slide down or get stuck by a yucca or something like that.
Oh, absolutely,
Those
yeah.
things. But my friend was struggling so bad. Like she took little steps, and then just rested. Little step, because she was so tired. It took us almost 20 hours to complete the mountain. Yeah, because that's how bad it took us. We made it to the Summit 5, and we didn't leave till like 6.
My.
I didn't get back home till like 1 in the morning. It was late. It was like more than like almost 2. Yeah, it was late, but it was an experience because I knew that she was like really hurting bad, and I'm always like, it's okay. We'll take a break. We'll just rest, and then, it happens. It's one of those hikes that, that can kick your ass, and from experience, you can be there for 24 hours.
Brother, my first time I attempted it, I had to turn around 1 mile from the summit because we started in the summer, started at 9 a.m., had to turn around, was super demoralized, went back with my crewmates, Mark Feichel and Jaswell, shout outs to them. One of my crewmates got injured, stuck on the mountain for the same amount of time. We're up there for 19 hours. So I'm right there with you,
Yeah,
for the first summit of Iron Mountain. I was like, dear God, this day is never going to end.
Yeah, it's never ending. But
Oh,
it's
man.
it's always a learning experience. What you do, what I did. You learn from from future what you're gonna prepare yourself. You start earlier. You bring more water. You make sure that whoever hiking friend that you bring that's strong enough to do it, or has trained, at least trained. Because me and my friend, we were just hikers, just like regular. We weren't really training for anything. We were like, we just wanted just to hike the next mountain. We were just oblivious, not knowing how an ass kicker it was. So, but we did it, and that's what I fell in love with them. So.
Yeah, and Iron Mountain in the community, the joke is, or the nickname is, it's called La Toxica.
La Toxica.
The Iron X. The Toxic X. Because once you do it, you never want to go back. And then you come back to it and you're like, why am I here?
Why am I here?
It's just like the Toxic X. So that's what it is in the community.
Yeah.
So
it's either you love it or you hate it. There's no in between the middle. Like you can't just say, oh, okay, no, you either have to like really love to go back and do it, or if you hate it, just, you're done. Because I have some friends like once is enough and they're done. They never go back and do it again. But for me, I love that mountain. It's just the perfect hiking mountain to do in a day. It's the ultimate for me.
And so what is a third for you? I know you said Denali. That's not in
Yeah,
California, right?
I know. It's like, yeah.
All right, so we got to throw that out, even though Denali is super epic. That's the tallest mountain in North America, right?
Yeah, North America. But in California...
What's a third for you?
I would say, I really love Mount Shasta up north. Mount Shasta in California. Something about that mountain, because it's just so isolated. It's like the only high 14er mountain up in Northern California.
Is that taller than Whitney? Oh, no. Whitney's the tallest in the continental West.
Whitney's the tallest one. Mount Shasta is, I guess you can say it's one of the most, I guess, not technical, I guess, but a very...
that's what I hear.
Yeah, it can be very challenging because it's like it's longer, it's twice as long as 3 times longer than doing the Baldy Bowl. Just think of that.
Doing 3 times longer than doing the Baldy Bowl?
Yeah. Wow. Doing that in one day. I mean, most people backpack it, and then the next day they're gonna push it for summit. But doing it one day, it's very challenging to do. But you can still do it. So for that mountain, I guess for me, the first time doing Mount Shasta, it was actually with one of my good friends, Tony, is with Team No Sleep.
Team No Sleep.
He's one of my good friends. He actually got me more involved with the hiking community because he was already been hiking for a long time, and he's one of my good friends that always invited me to go hiking trips anywhere. He took me to my first mountain to Yosemite, took me multiple times to Mount Whitney after I done it, but Mount Shasta he always wanted to do it, and we planned it and we were ready to do it, and that mountain was an ass kicker. Just doing it in a day.
How many miles is this? Also like 20 plus miles?
No, I believe it or not, just round trip. It's only like under like 13 miles. 13 miles. Oh,
yeah. Okay.
It's short, but it's just it's just steeper. It's just steeper as Myra Mountain, but with snow.
And what aspect of this mountain makes it like something that you love and that is a favorite for yourself?
For me, I loved it because I felt like I felt like a true mountaineering experience with the high winds, all like the technical, like just going up the steep slope right there. It just felt like, oh, this is like the real deal. Like just watching the sunrise, on a mountain. That was actually my first time watching a good sunrise mountaineering. Wow. So it was just like so beautiful just being up there. I get starting that alpine start, because usually you have to start like at least at midnight or 1 in the morning, to get a good start.
Alpine start is typically midnight,
or even before that. Sometimes people start like at 11 p.m. just to get a good start, because the earlier you start, the better you can make it to the summit. So you got enough time to get down safe. Because usually like in the afternoon, the weather changes dramatically, especially in the mountains, high elevation mountains. So Mount Shasta really kicked my ass as well. I think it was harder than Mount Whitney for me personally, doing it in the snow.
Looks like a very dramatic mountain from the photos that I've seen. Like you're right, like it has that real like mountaineering, like dramatic experience.
Yes, and I highly encourage anyone that wants to do mountaineering, train for that, to keep doing Baldy, eventually do Whitney, and then Mount Shasta can be the next step. Hopefully I can take you one day, to do it.
Oh, hell yeah.
We can plan it. We'll train more to do Baldy and take you to Mount Whitney. And, like I said, I like helping everyone. I like helping friends, reach their their hiking goals, their dreams, and everything.
Our inner potential.
Yeah, inner potential. Because I feel we all have potential. We all have the capability to do what we want to do in the mountains. We just, I think we're afraid to release our potential.
I think the mountains really unlocks like our utmost potential.
Yes.
Like we carry that momentum after we bag a peek into like our everyday lives.
Yep.
Maybe our career, maybe keeping, the outdoor pursuits going. Like I just feel like when you do these really difficult, challenging mountains, like it just unlocks something inside of you and reminds you that, I'm capable. I'm a badass. Like I can do this as long as I train and I dedicate myself towards this craft. So I want to recap. So you said Mount Whitney. You didn't not Denali. Mount Whitney,
yes, the
Iron Mountain,
first time.
and Mount Shasta.
Yeah, the first time.
What an epic three mountains in California to name as your favorites. And
Yeah.
that just is a testament to the kind of person and hiker you are. Like, now I know why you're like hiker fighter.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I feel like you're fighting for the mountain, trying to get to the top, and it's a struggle. It's a battle. Like, oh man, like gotta keep going, pushing it. So it's like put that as a mountain, fighting, to make it, and then the real world, fighting, for the depression, what you're doing. It's like two things. So it's a very therapeutic for me to do. Mountains are very therapeutic. So
What, like when you say like you're fighting the depression and it's very therapeutic, like how is it therapeutic for you? Like the act of hiking these, like in what way does it like allow you to feel that way?
I guess for me personally, when I'm actually hiking like a very tough, challenging mountain, anything that it's an ass kicker, it makes me feel like overcome these depression, because I feel stronger when I make it to the summit. I feel like alive. I feel like life is so beautiful.
Yes.
Life is so precious. It's like, wow, like look around all the mountains, watching the sunrise or the sunset, and I just like, wow, this is amazing. Like life is beautiful. Like you can I can appreciate more.
Yes.
So when I'm doing all these tough challenges, it's a reminder, like you have to just keep going, keep moving forward. You have to be strong and overcome it. So
progression is progression, no matter what the pace, too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what it means to me.
Yeah. I know that there's a very strong relationship or direct relationship of like the mountains in regards to your your mental health and also your healing journey. But we'll get into that in a little bit,
Okay,
because
yeah.
We've been talking about a lot of really challenging peaks.
Yeah.
So from
they're all my first timer. Like like I said, they were my first time doing these mountains. So that's why I like them, because the first time, everyone who's done their first time any mountain, it's always special. Any hard mountain, it's a special thing.
Oh yeah, I dream about my first Mount Whitney summit, and only Mount Whitney summit, all the time. I can tell you that for sure. So from all your extensive hiking knowledge, and just in general outdoor experience, I always love to give the listeners on this show like tips and advice from the people that have completed these summits, so that they can get inspired to tackle these mountains, but get like real good advice from like locals such as yourself. So I'd love for you to provide the Just Trek listeners with some tips and advice for tackling long day hikes, and also, for our fellow peak baggers out there, because clearly, a big part of your outdoor journey or hiking journey are these big peaks like a Mount Baldy, Iron Mountain, and then these 14ers such as a Mount Whitney and a Mount Shasta. Like, what do tips and advice look like that have greatly helped you out that you can bestow upon fellow peak baggers and hikers?
Okay, for essentials for day hikes, for sure, I would recommend bringing a headlamp, and a jacket.
What kind of jacket?
A wind jacket, and a down jacket, a puffy jacket, for the cold, because it can you never know if you're gonna be stuck in the mountain. From my experience, I have stories that I've got stuck in the mountains overnight. I've experienced not friends forgetting their headlamp, and I have to lead the way to bring in with the light, navigating through. So it's very important, because sometimes it can be an all day. You would think you're gonna finish half the day, but you end up coming back late in the dark. And I think a headlamp is very important to bring.
You should always just bring a headlamp,
just no matter what.
No matter what, because it's so small and lightweight.
Yes.
Actually, could you because most hikers, even I would say experienced hikers, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand the layering system, especially when it comes to doing these big peaks. Like, could you break it down? Because I know there's like, you have a base layer, then you have an outer shell. Like, could you just like break down real quick, like the proper layering system you should bring on any long day hike or major peak?
For I guess for the layers for mountain, I guess for the snow season, because there's for the winter season, for the layers is I usually bring like a long sleeve, like a compression, like dry fit. Just that's one layer. The second layer is just like a base layer, like a fleece, something like that, just to cover like the long sleeve as well too, cover that. The third one I usually would be is the down like a down jacket, just to cover like any like good strong waterproof jacket or
For
down.
insulation, right?
Insulation,
The duck feathers, the
Yeah,
goose
duck
feathers,
feathers,
right?
for that, just to cover that. And then the fourth one, it's usually the wind jacket to cover like the wind, everything. That's for that kind of layers. And then obviously you have to bring a base layer for your gloves, like a liner glove, and then just a fleece glove, and then like a winter jacket, like a thick like a leather glove glove.
It's a lot,
It's
right?
a lot of gloves.
'Cause
Like,
it's winter.
And
Yeah,
also
yeah.
sometimes people forget. Sometimes I bring like for pants. I usually wear like those compression long pants.
Sure.
Dry fit ones for the snow too. I've for that, and then a soft shell pants. They're for like mountaineering. That would protect you. And then for the shoe, or I guess for the socks, would be a base layer for sock, like a liner. And then usually I would bring mountaineering wool socks, a specific mountaineering, mountaineering wool socks. They're thick, and also I would put like some hand warmers and toe warmers as well too, because it gets really cold too as well. So that's for the
Winter hiking is a completely different monster.
It's different kind of monster. And then if you add with like climbing your ropes or backpacking, carrying all that gear, it's a whole nother level than like
That's very true.
than doing a day hike. Just bringing the basic essentials. Obviously, I would recommend definitely another thing. Trekking poles. Those are lifesavers. Trekking poles as well. Trekking poles
Lifesavers.
And my friends always, I wear a trekking pole, I wear knee braces, and me and my friends tell me, hey, are you, they would think I'm like, I have knee problems or anything, but thankfully I'm good. I just tell them I just want to protect my knees,
Yes.
From hiking the mountain, especially going downhill, because, you can damage a lot of your knees, and, keep putting it, and I just tell them I'm trying to protect my knees. Like, I just want to do this for forever, long term, like when I'm 60 or 70 years old, if I live to that age, and I just want to keep doing this for the rest of my life. So I'm trying to prevent that, to injuring myself, and it saved me a lot of time from trips or falls. Like I catch myself when I'm hiking, like, oh, I kind of trip, and I catch myself with the trekking poles.
Absolutely.
So it's I bring them, and to me it's a lifesaver. So.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, even if you don't like using hiking poles, what happens if you roll your ankle or you severely like sprain it?
Yeah.
How are you going to get down? The hiking poles are at least going to get you off the mountain, hopefully.
Yeah.
And like, to your point, like, I feel like hiking poles are so incredible too, because it just gives you longevity in the trekking game.
Yeah.
Because when you're going down, it's so much impact on your knees.
Oh yeah.
Like, a lot. And like, just using the trekking poles going down, you feel like a mountain goat. You're just like,
And it helps me because it helps me, especially the steep hills.
Yeah.
Like, I can push myself without struggling as much. I can just go and keep going at a good pace. So it helps me a lot. And then going down when it's very like steep scree, I can like control myself, like stopping to myself from falling either forward or down like that. So it's like it's been very useful for me. That's another for day hiking to bring.
Yeah, just in general. It doesn't matter if there's,
Even I even take it to when I'm mountaineering as well too. When I'm hiking the snow, I just start using it. And then once I'm going to the steep side, I'll use one hand with the ice axe and the other hand with the trekking pole. Just like, and I can use my ice axe as a trekking pole as well too.
I've seen that technique.
Yeah.
The ice axe and the trekking pole. I notice a lot of advanced mountaineers use that.
Yeah. So
system.
So yeah, do that as well too. So that helps a lot.
Okay, right on. Thanks for sharing all those tips and advice.
Thank you.
You're definitely someone I feel has very in-depth knowledge, tons of outdoor experience. And so right now, I want to talk about your most recent outdoor adventure that you embarked on. and you described this trip as incredible, emotional, and even spiritual. And you were in the Eastern Sierras tackling a mountain that is not too well known and not often spoke about. And that mountain is called Bear Creek Spire.
Yes.
What exactly brought you to this particular peak? And what was the significance of this trip for you?
Okay, all right. So the reason why I did this mountain, because a friend of mine, it was hiking partner, climbing partner, and he was part of the team No Sleep with Tony, Iris, and Ale. They're part of. His name's Nemorio. His full birth name is Nemorio Hernandez, but we call him Nemo. He unfortunately hiked that mountain on his own solo without any ropes or anything, just free solo climbing it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean it's a five. The route we did was a 5.3, 5.4, but still you need ropes. You know, a good strong climber can do it without can solo it. But he was strong, but I mean anything can happen. You know, even the strongest climbers, you know, have fallen free solo, but he was still, I guess 2 years into it climbing, but he was a natural strong climber. That it was last year 4th of July weekend.
Last year?
Yeah, so it's been a year now.
Wow.
So that 4th of July weekend, I've already made plans with two of my friends, backpacking trip in the Sierras. It was with Jason, SD hiker, and Diana, Hiking D Adventures. So and then he actually texted me. He's like, "Hey, dude, Cisko, you want to go do Bear Creek Spiral?" And I didn't know what it was. I was like, I actually put the message saying, "What's that?" That's how I didn't know about
pretty
that.
Wild name.
Yeah. So I didn't know, and he told, and I looked it up. And it's like, oh, okay. I told him, I'm already busy that weekend. I already had plans, but I told him I'm free on Monday or Sunday. I'll be in the Sierra still, and he couldn't do it. That's okay? And I told him my last message was best of luck, be safe. That was a message on my Instagram messenger that we talked, and that was the last I've heard of him. Unfortunately, that weekend when I went backpacking and he went to do that mountain, I didn't tell my Jason or D, but I had a really bad feeling with my friend.
Oh, you had a feeling already.
Like,
wow.
like I feel like it's like a energy, the vibe, like my heart started like pumping. It was anxiety. I just kept thinking about Nemo. Like something was wrong. Like I felt like the energy, the universe is telling me that my friend was hurt. But I didn't want to tell my friends because the vibe. I just want to keep it to myself. But as soon as I got back down and got serviced and everything, I texted my friend, my Nemo, and I kept texting him. He never messaged me back. I was just like worried and just thinking like, man, I hope he's safe, because I just reading the research about it. It was a climb to do, a rock climbing. But I knew he was strong and everything. He's a fearless guy. He's a mountain goat. He's faster and stronger than me, actually. So I never thought in my mind that something bad was going to happen with him. And sure enough, to the next day, and I got a call from, it was a message from David Trailmax. He messaged me, he told me, like, did you hear about Nemo? And it's like, no. And he told me.
So you found out the day after.
Yeah.
He already was supposed to finish his climb.
Yeah. So after, and then I couldn't believe it. And then I called Tony, and then I got a message from Tony. He started crying, and then I couldn't. He was like he passed away in the mountain, and I was just devastated. I couldn't believe it. And then I started messaging with Iris. She told me she already knew about it. And I told and then I called my friend Vicky, another good friend of mine, and she was at work and she thought it was like playing. I was lying. I told her nope. We were just
disbelief. Yeah.
Disbelief, and then just shocked. No words can describe. Like just couldn't think Nemo. Like really, like he's a mountain goat. You would think you're like. People think you're unstoppable, like you're strong and everything, but it can happen to anyone.
And you brought something.
Yes.
Would you like to show?
Yes, I actually. So this is his backpack. Nemo's backpack that he last
he last did, Bear Creek Spiral.
So he did Bear Creek Spiral with his very backpack.
Yeah, his backpack, yeah.
And you wore this over the weekend.
Yes,
in honor of him.
Yes, over the weekend, in honor of him. I've waited over a year to do this. I wanted to because anyone passes away. It's a tough year. The first year is always the toughest to grieve through, and I waited for a year just to wear this backpack. I never used it for any hike.
That's so crazy.
So I wanted to honor him and go back and go do this mountain for him. So
you did it,
and I did it, and it was an amazing, incredible experience. We backpacked it with another friend of mine. His name's Daniel Guerrero, another climber of mine, and he's a good friend with Nemo as well. We were just so impressed and how strong that he did it in one day. Nemo did it in one day, doing Bear Creek, and we did it backpacking, and we struggled. Like it was like hard just to get to the approach, climbing it, getting down. Me carrying all the gear and everything, it was a challenge for me to do as well. So it wasn't a great experience to do. But when I wore his backpack for the first time hiking this mountain, I felt like his presence, I felt his energy, I felt he was with me. Like I can hear his voice. He was telling me, because he speaks, usually speaking Spanish, he would tell me, "Si se puede, Cisko. Tú si puedes." Like, "Vamos, Cisko. Vamos, Cisko. Échale ganas. No pica." Like just the small jokes. We had some inside jokes we would do. Saca la mota, like, because we used to smoke weed all the time in the weed. So it was just like little jokes like that. I just can hear his voice
echoing in your mind.
Yeah, just like, and I can feel his strength, and like I felt like he was with me the whole way, all the time.
Wow.
So even like when we made it to the summit, there was a register, like, those register signs. I was like trying to find his name. It was like on the registers on the paper when people signed their name, and it was all mixed in different orders, the dates, because people were just put in it whatever there was a space, and I was just desperate looking. And then when I found it,
oh, you found it?
Yeah, his name. I actually posted on Instagram too his name, and I was just crying. I literally just cried, like just crying. And then and Daniel's like, "What happened? Like, you find his name?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he just like. His name right here, and he made it at 9 in the morning. He summited at 9 in the morning, and we summited at 10 a.m. So he was an hour ahead of us. That's how strong he was.
How strong he was.
He was, and he made it at 9 a.m. So there was proof that he actually made it to summit.
I can't. Man, just you finding that message, I could only imagine the emotions that just like surged through you at that exact moment.
It was just like I was just hiking the mountain, just hiking to the trail, just little tears, just tears crying in my eyes, the anxiety, just excitement. I was just like determined to do this. Like I was just ready to honor him for my friend.
I felt when you read that message though, like there was some kind of there was closure.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, definitely closure.
Like some kind of completion to the entire story, right?
Yeah, it was like I felt like I am at peace now, because I was such a mess, losing a friend, or anyone, just like my mother as well. It just, that depression hits you, and it's just like you hike certain mountains that you have memories with your friend, and you just like, man, I wish he was here. When we went climbing on a specific rock, it was just like, oh, we did this. Oh, I remember we had plans to doing these peaks, these challenges. So we had so many goals, because I gotta give all credit to Nemo, because without him, he would have pushed me to my next, out of my comfort zone. Like he actually got me into climbing. He actually wanted to keep pushing me to the next hiking level.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because he's pushed you to accomplish some insane routes and mountains.
Yes.
What were some of those things that he inspired you to do?
The one for sure, I guess the one I guess a couple of weeks recently, when we talked about like what he wanted to do. He wanted to do the Lone Pine to Whitney to Lone Pine.
Whoa, hold on.
That was one
Lone Pine to Whitney Summit to Lone Pine.
Yeah.
What are the stats on that?
That's over like 11, like almost 11,000 elevation gains. It was 40 miles round trip.
What?
Yeah, it was. I would say it's part of
backpacking trip. Or?
No, but just one day. I was trail running and just and then went to the Mountaineers route and like,
You did it as a trail run in one day?
yeah, I just
Wow.
pushing it myself. Luckily, I had the endurance, and I was already into trail running it and everything, but just pushing it myself to the summit, was an ass kicker to do.
Look what you made me do. I took off my sunglasses.
It's like,
Guys, I'm like literally mind blown right now.
It's, I think
40
I think
miles.
it's like the cactus to cloud to cactus of Mount Whitney. It's like when people do that challenge, it's very challenging. But I just took it to the next level because he actually was like just crazy enough to wanted to do that, and I thought and it's like I had to do something crazy in honor of him.
You did that.
And did that and started like at 9. That was like I started like at the night before, like at 9:30 p.m. Just went for it. Just ran all the way to the road. You drove all the way, the long road.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to Whitney Porto, I was like, okay, I'm in Whitney Porto. My mind got into like, okay, I've done Whitney so many times, and that was my 18th successful summit. So I already very familiar with the mountain. So already that confidence was like built up. I was like, okay, I'm here. I got this. Got to go to Mountaineers route. Went up the route, and once I made it to the summit, I was like, oh man, I'm very relieved and surprised at my end because I made it to the summit around 10:30 in the morning. So 9 p.m. So it was a good, decent time to make it to the summit. I was impressed with myself, happy that I did it. Yeah,
You're a hiking god at that point. Wait,
No.
do you know anyone who else?
I've heard
Who's done
someone.
it?
There's one of my a friend of mine. His name's Blair. He mentioned that someone did it, and I didn't know who this person was. But that's cool that this other person did it as well. But oh, you did that? That's cool. So there's other hikers out there who are doing it too. But I mean, that was my personal chance. So I didn't know who anyone else was doing it. But the person who did it just did it from Mountaineers route and coming down the Mountaineers. I looped around from the Mountaineers route and then down to the main route, the main trail.
Oh
So
my goodness. So
and
it's
it
much
was
longer.
much longer, yeah. But which was cool about that was I actually when I was about to go down, I actually ran into Lance Armstrong. I don't know if you know him, the
You
cyclist.
ran into Lance Armstrong on the way down?
Yeah, the professional cyclist. Him, yeah. He was
Holy cow.
And the only reason I recognized him, I found out because a friend of mine was saying like, oh, Lance is doing Whitney this weekend, and he was posting his gears, his jackets and his clothing, what he was gonna wear, and then I recognized what he was wearing at the summit, and there was like 4 white guys, tall white guys, looked really strong guys, and I was just like, Lance. He's all like, yep. He's like, Lance Armstrong? Yep, that's me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. That was just I congratulate him. And
What a
then,
rad moment
yeah,
for
it's
you.
cool. And then he seemed a little defensive because from his past experience what he's done. But I respected him. Told him congratulations, it's awesome. And I told him I was a fan of yours when I was growing up when he did the Live Strong, the bracelet, the yellow bracelet. So that was pretty cool. And then I was signing the register. He came to the register to sign his name underneath my name. So it was cool.
Oh, that's very
Took
cool.
a picture and then I told him what I was gonna do, what challenge it was, and he was impressed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, man, that's awesome, Cisko, that's badass. And actually, when I was running back down to the road, as he was driving, he yelled, way to go, Cisko, you got this, keep going. And he yelled at me, and I was like, Lance.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I was like,
that's what
that's
I'm
cool.
talking
So
about.
that was a cool experience, yeah. So.
That's a forever memory. It sounds
Oh yeah,
like.
that's definitely, yeah. So.
Was there also wow, that's so crazy that Nemo inspired you to do that.
Yeah.
Was there like one other one that he also inspired you to do that was like pretty hardcore?
Another one for me, with Nemo, I would say, fuck.
I mean, that's already good enough.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
Lone Pine to Whitney to Lone Pine is already next level.
Yeah, next level. But with me and him together, I would say, oh man,
Yeah, name one.
name one. Going back to doing, well, I guess Mount Whitney, the Mountaineers route.
Always Mount Whitney, huh?
Yeah, Mount Whitney's. Yeah, it's Mount Whitney's. It's been
Always
a special
going
one.
back,
Going
yeah.
back, the Mountaineers route on the snow. I guess my first time doing the Mountaineers route, and I would say like we were backpacking it too as well with Team No Sleep, and he was I guess I would say him that he was like the second leader of the group, encouraging him, and he kind of kept telling us, "Come on, guys, you can do this, vamos, si se puede," and it's just pushing us out of our comfort zone. And he kept telling me, you're safe with me. You got this. We're gonna make it to the summit. And he makes me feel safe and comfortable with him. I trusted him. And I thank them for like just, you know, believing in me, being a true friend to me, because he's one of the few friends that I can actually say that he's like a brother to me, you know, the older brother I wish I had, you know, like that would, you know, take me do all these crazy fun adventures. So, yeah.
Dude, I gotta tell you, Cisko, Nemo's looking down at you
Oh, yeah.
in the heavens right now, just saying, you did that.
You did that, yeah.
Proud of you. You brought his backpack. No better, not a more epic way to honor, you know, your climbing partner.
Yeah, and we have so many hiking goals that we talked about in the past, that list that we want to do. One of them I want to go back to. He hasn't done Pico Orizaba, the highest mountain in Mexico. He's always wanted to do that one, so I want to honor that with his backpack. Obviously, he wants to do Denali. I want to do that as well with him and honor him.
Because you need redemption on Denali, right?
Yeah, Denali is another redemption of mine, so definitely going to come back for that one as well. So, so there's so many. So yeah.
God bless Nemo. Rest in power, Nemo. So wild that you have the backpack too.
Yes.
You brought it here.
Yeah, thank you.
That's quite special, man.
Thank you.
All right, Cisko. So let's talk about trail angels. And for those not too familiar, a trail angel is essentially a person that is a steward of the trail and helps fellow hikers out in need in different capacities, right? Whether it's shelter, food, or just any general aid for whatever that hiker needs in that situation. And from my understanding, your ultimate trail angel is your mother.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you lost her a few years ago, and I know she meant the world to you. And each year since she's passed, you do something for her on Mother's Day.
Yes.
Would love for you to share how you honor and celebrate your mom on this day, that being Mother's Day.
Okay. Usually on Mother's Day,
I usually deactivate my social media on Mother's Day, like that week or something, or a couple weeks, because it's a tough time for me. I see friends posting, you know, Happy Mother's Day and everyone with their moms, and I'm like always just, the depression gets to me. I just get like, just really sad, like without her, spending time with her, celebrating her, being with her, and seeing all my friends, you know, celebrating Mother's Day, and what I have with no one without my mom. I usually just get away, disconnect, get away, no distraction, everything. And I gotta say, I go back and I always go do Iron Mountain. That's why it's a really special mountain to me, because the time when my mom passed away in 2016, I was just devastated, just watching her in her deathbed, you know, slowly dying in the hospital. And
was she a hiker by any chance? Or
no, nothing. No,
okay.
none of my family, and none of my families are not hikers. It's just, you know, it's very like Latinos don't really go hiking as much, especially old school Mexicans. They don't really hike as much. So I'm just always been always different, doing something different. But and I, you know, when she passed away, just very devastated, heartbroken. I just, at the point that I like lost, like thought of attempted suicide that year, because I just felt like the loneliest, the darkest moment of my life, the worst of the worst, like just losing her, just watching her like dying, and we couldn't do nothing, you know, so it just really hit me hard. And when I thought about suicide, I just had to like escape, just leave away without telling anybody. And I just decided just to hike Iron Mountain, because like late in the night, just started like at midnight or 1, just packed my bags and left and hiked out there, because that mountain makes me feel stronger. Yeah. So I needed that feeling. I needed to feel that pain. I wanted to like numb the pain that I have. So I wanted just to hike that mountain, just to forget everything and just to do it.
So you doing Iron Mountain and making that conscious decision stopped you from committing suicide?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's
it's
wild.
safe. So it's like, I owe that mountain a lot. I owe it so much that I plan to get hopefully someday a tattoo of that W15, the sign. So it's going to be special to me. I want to hit 59 summits. Right now I'm at 31 summit. The reason I want to hit 59 because my mom passed away at the age 59.
Gotcha.
So I want to hit that number.
You're gonna reach it.
Oh
man.
yeah, I have plenty of time. So once I hit that mountain, I'm gonna get a tattoo, one of my calves. So I'm thinking that so when I attempted that mountain, I made it to the summit, and just in time for the sunrise, watching alone out there, just crying like a baby, and just weeping, just emotional, just praying for my mom, telling her that I loved her, that I missed her so much, that I promised I'll make her proud, that I'm gonna, be a better person, show her what I'm capable of. Like,
Yeah.
I make her more happier. I know she's proud of me, but I feel like I can do more in life and make her proud. So when I did Iron Mountain, watching the sunrise, it was a spiritual, very beautiful experience. Just
like I'm here. I'm still here.
I'm
son.
here alive. It made me realize how life is beautiful. Life is so precious. Life is unpredictable. You gotta appreciate it every day. You gotta just tell your parents that you love them, because you never know when they're gone. They're gone. It's the worst feeling in the world. Nothing worse than having your first breakup or anything like that. Losing your parents, it feels like someone stabbed you in the heart. You take it off. You have that pain in your body, this aching pain that's in with you for a long time, and you want to numb the pain.
You want to numb it.
So for me specifically, why I do these kind of hardcore challenges is not to be a badass or just to be like bragging, like I did this mountain, I'm doing all these crazy hikes.
Yes.
For me, it's just to numb the pain, just to to feel stronger again. That's what it is for me. I do these challenges. In my own world, crazy world, I guess you can say, it helps me. It's very therapeutic to push myself.
Well, thank God you turned to the outdoors and the mountains specifically,
Yeah.
because when something so tragic like that happens,
And
obviously you can spiral down doing different substances and getting caught up in certain things.
and a lot of people that I read, people who lost some family members, a lot of people don't have some kind of therapeutic way. They go into drugs, bad drugs, or alcohol drinking and something bad, suicide attempts and stuff like that. And it's like, it's a real thing. It's hard for some people to go through, and luckily the mountains saved me. Without the mountains, I wouldn't be here right now. I probably would have been
Real talk, yeah. Damn, dude, like life has been quite the roller coaster for you.
Yeah.
Really rough, especially with the passing of your mom, the passing of Nemo, your climbing partner, and I know there's a few other individuals as well.
Yeah, and I want to just put in something like that year too. That same year, when my mom passed away, that same year, the two hiking friends that I just mentioned earlier, Michael and Lisa,
They passed
that same year. So it was that 2016 was the worst year for all the hiking community.
Wow.
Like, my mom passed away in September. My friend Michael passed away in October, Mount Whitney, and then Lisa passed away in November that same year. So it was one after the other. So I was just like, it was devastating. Like, me losing my mom, and then it's like I deactivated on my social media, and then when I heard about that, I came back with social media to see if it was, to confirm, and it was just devastating. Losing two friends and your mom, it's just like, I couldn't take it. So I took a long break with social media. You actually need to take a break. Everyone needs to take a break from social media sometimes. Crucial, because just to disconnect, because you need some time to yourself. So
it's crazy how just like when all those passings happens and deaths, it's like an avalanche. It's like one's already enough. Like, why the next month and then the following month? It's just, that's when it's just like you feel like life is cruel, but then you gotta pick yourself back up at some point.
And I gotta give a lot of credits to some friend of mine. You'll realize who your true friends are during your worst, darkest moments. Who are gonna be there for you, who are gonna support you, who are gonna support you and be there for you during your hard times. Because I had unfortunately some friends that who thought were my close friends weren't there for me. Some family members never reached out to me, just kind of like just whatever. And some friends who thought they were gonna be there never kind of reached out to me. The ones who you least expected who are gonna be there, you never thought, your other friends they're your true friends who are gonna always support you. And another one I gotta give credit to is my ex-girlfriend. At the time, she was also very supportive because we were dating at the time, and she actually was very there. She was there for me, making me feel the comfort, making me feel that everything's gonna be okay. So
that's how you climbed out of this hole. It was the mountains, support from
friends,
certain friends and individuals.
Individuals, yes.
Any other tools or anything else that also helped you climb out of this hole?
Holes, gotta say, besides hiking mountains, music.
Music.
I love music. Music just like a little escape as well.
What kind of music?
I listen to, besides Linkin Park, I mean, I love listening to I'm a metalhead. So I listen to
gotcha.
Metallica and Iron Maiden, just Pantera, all these hardcore bands. So I just gives me wild up, yeah. So it helps me a lot.
To the people tuning in and anyone who's currently battling depression, do you have any words for them you want to share?
I would say everyone goes through depression in their life. Nobody's alone. Everyone has to find somebody to talk to, a friend, a family member, and express yourself, your feelings. Because I guess we have a stigma as a man that we have to be a strong macho man. We can't.
Machismo is the term,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. We're not supposed to show any emotions. We have to be just tough persons. No crying. Boys don't cry like that. And I think that's just a bad stigma that we have emotions. We have feelings. We want to let it out. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out, to express yourself. I think it's very important for that, because if you hold it in, it's it's worse feeling. You can't you feel you're stuck in the past. You gotta just release it. So I've had a hard time doing that, but it's been helping me. It's been helping me a lot. Just to kind of talk about it more now. First time you're listening to my stories, people, the podcast, hearing my story, it feels good talking about it, my experience. So it's no one's alone. We're all going through some tough battles in our lives. Some people are really good at putting a poker face, saying that they're okay, but they're not really are.
So true.
Yeah. We have to making sure, reach out to your friends, tell them, hey, how you doing? Just random text messages, are you good? Let's go for a hike. I always tell my friends that I haven't reached out to, hey, you want to go a small hike? And most of them are happy. They just want to get out of there. So just one advice, yeah.
Yeah, the act of you just talking about it and being open, I feel just that action alone is healing.
Oh yeah, and I feel good.
Therapeutic,
yeah. And I think this is like a therapeutic session for me, just talking about it with you. So it feels good. So I feel happy. So thank you.
And this is why I love, hosting this show and podcast. It's not only just about hardcore hiker things. It's about real life and life lessons and how the mountains can help heal us, can help improve our mental health, because I know the mountains play such a crucial role for you in regards to both of them. You mentioned, it helps you numb the pain when it feels too much, but also at the same time it builds you up to a point where you can live life again to the fullest, I feel, for yourself. Right?
Oh yeah, it builds me up. It builds me stronger mentally, physically. That's why I always kind of just say what's the next challenge I can do? What's my next potential? What am I capable of? And then when I just do it, I'm impressed. I'm happy, proud of myself. Healing. I can feel the spiritual, the presence of my mom, my friends that passed away. I can hear the voices. Yeah. It's weird. So, and my mom's always with me because I always carry my necklace. I carry a necklace urn. So there's a piece. It's a necklace urn. It's a hummingbird. Because she loves hummingbird, and it's a small piece of ash in her. There's ash in here, so I carry with her. She's always with me, so
That's so beautiful. Man.
So always in my heart. So it's always.
I think I saw that on the
picture.
Yeah, it's pinned, right?
It's a pin. I pinned it there because that's the necklace urn. The small piece of ash. I carry with her. Carry it there, and it's special to me. So yeah.
Dude, she has the most epic son.
She always tells me I've been you always been she knew I was always been like the different one, the crazy one. I knew I was something special. She was knew I was special. I was something special I was gonna do in life. So I feel like.
God bless your mom.
Thank you.
Rest in power.
Rest in
God
power.
bless Nemo. Rest in power. And that was a lot, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for being open and transparent, sharing, what you've been going through and how you cope with it using Mother Nature, using these epic routes and mountains. Like, the mountains are such a great place to heal.
Oh yeah, the best. It's the best therapeutic. Not only like it's not to me. It's not just doing the 52 hike challenge anymore. Like once a week. It's a part of my life now. I don't hike just once a week. I hike at least 3 or 4 times a week. Not just big hikes.
You need to do it.
Yeah, I need to do it. Like I'll just do small little trail runs or little hikes. And the days I have a free day, I'll just do a big Sufferfest hike, and it's like I like to call it Sufferfest hikes, and I love them.
You love your Sufferfest.
I love them. It's just
For sure.
Yeah. So it's part of life for me.
All right, man. Let's switch it up a bit because I know
Okay.
we've been talking about some pretty heavy stuff, but some stuff that is I know you wanted to chat about.
Thank you.
So right now, I want to reminisce about our epic Mount Baldy experience together. And before we jump into that, could you just educate the listeners on, how Mount Baldy is just a different beast in the wintertime?
Okay. So there's 2 different kinds of conditions that, for Mount Baldy. Usually, like the summer, it's dry. Most people, a lot of hikers hike it during the summertime because there's no snow.
Exactly.
It's like the weather's perfect. It's not so windy. There's no rain or something. Just a hot day. But it's easy to hike the mountain. Anybody can do it.
Not technical.
Not technical. The trail's easy to follow. You can't get lost unless you're just like on your phone. You just kind of get careless. You can go off trail. But most of the time, you find somebody hiking that mountain. So it's fairly easy during the summertime. But during the winter time, it's a whole different mountain. It's a beast. Like
Whole other
it's like people like underestimate it because like they say, oh, I've done Mount Whitney, I've done it already, but without snow. But they think, oh, I can do it too. But it's a whole different level of a beast. You gotta really respect that mountain as well because there have been people who've died that mountain during the snow.
Many, right?
Yeah,
too,
many.
like a good amount. Yeah.
Man, I heard your podcast with Justin. Just
Rockhound
Hiker, like his friend that he did Bear Canyon. That story, I was just like, I didn't know that
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was in the hike with them that time. I didn't know he was part of the hike. I was surprised that what happened to
That was
his friend.
That's probably one of the craziest stories I heard
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Exactly. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Unfortunately, like when that hiker passed away, the search and rescue that went to search him passed away. Also that year, 2017, I believe, more people were getting into hiking. It was getting more popular at that time. People I've heard people died of the Backbone Trail falling off that area. It's a very sketchy.
Sheer drop-offs on each
Fear
side.
drop-off. I've heard people who've done Everest, who summit Everest, done Mount Baldy, have died doing Mount. Yeah, I've heard stories. Yeah, I didn't know that person, but I just read from articles from people in the hiking community
Holy
back in the days. Like
moly.
there's this hiker. He did Everest, badass hiker. But I guess being you just underestimate the mountain. Oh, Baldy. He was an experienced hiker.
A bit complacent, maybe a
Yeah,
bit.
and from what I heard, it was icy, the area where the Backbone Trail was. He just slipped and then he catch himself and he fell down and he died doing a mountain. And I was
to
surprised.
the best of us too.
Yeah, the best, the strongest. Can something happen? You can just be like careless, just underestimate. Oh, I done it, but you gotta just be careful. Don't underestimate it. Even just one more guy I gotta mention. His name's Sam Kim. He's an OG hiker. He's like the Ranger Dan. Have you heard of Ranger Dan?
I just saw him over the weekend
Yeah.
for his 1500th
Yeah.
summit. I was there to witness it. I got like a bit teary-eyed. It was like, this is such a moment.
Yes, for him. Yeah. So it's like there's another. He's just
like
Sam
him,
Kim. Yeah,
okay.
it's like him. He's been trying to do Mount Baldy for 1,000 summit. He was at his 700 summit. But he's an OG hiker. But unfortunately, he passed away in Mount Baldy as well. I met him. There's a video of him on my Instagram that I took a video with him. I was surprised, but his name was Sam Kim, and he passed away during the winter snowstorm. He went and did it, and fortunately he fell, and just just to show you, like, even hikers who've done Mount Baldy over 500 or 1,000 times, doesn't matter. You can't underestimate it. Don't be like bragging about it. Like, I did. Respect the mountain. Just be blessed and thankful that you make it to the summit. So in the mountaineering, when we did it, I wanted to make sure that you're
I was about to say
you're like making sure that you have the gears, the crampons, the micro spikes, your ice axe, all the winter gear, your jackets.
I gotta say this real quick. Getting all that gear, I got it as a rental.
Oh, yeah.
Was its own adventure before I even saw you. Like, I rented all the gear from REI, but I had to drive all the way to Tustin. I live in West LA, like Culver City area.
Yeah.
And obviously I searched the REIs that were around me first. They either didn't have rentals or they didn't have any of the mountaineering gear. So I was like freaking out, like, oh shoot, like this hike is in like 2 days. I was like, yo, I can't find the gear anywhere. And I finally was like, wow, if this Tustin location has it, I'm gonna have to drive an hour away.
Just to go.
So that's what I had to do. I drove an hour away. I got the ice axe, I got the crampons, I got the helmet, I got the mountaineering boots, and whatever things I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I must be really committed to doing this, and this must be a dream of mine because this is a lot of work right now.
It's a whole different a whole different hobby, another gears you have to buy.
It's a whole different thing.
Different thing. Besides hiking, it's just a whole different thing you need to buy to be prepared, to have the right equipment. And when I told you to bring, you brought everything, all the essentials for mountaineering gear. And then
I was like, I'm just gonna rent all the good equipment. I'm not gonna go on Amazon and try to bootleg it. I was like, this is my life at stake.
Oh yeah.
You know what
when
I mean?
I first got into mountaineering and all that, I got bootlegged mountaineering equipment. I bought crampons from eBay, and they were just cheap crampons, and they broke that first day. So it's very essential key that you have to buy really good quality mountaineering gears. I just think of it as an investment for long terms. It's your life. It's gonna save you. So when it was cool that you brought your gear, and we brought Will with us.
Yes, of course, we got to mention that it was Cisko, myself, and Will, the founder of We Explore Earth, that went on this mountaineering expedition. And it happened at the top of the year. It was January 7th, 2022. And what I want to reminisce with you about is, I expressed that this was a dream of mine to do. Like, I've done Baldy, I think prior to that 14 times. Mm-hmm. But I've always saw the content and all my fellow friends, such as yourself and other hikers in the community, scale the Baldy Bowl, with the ice axe in hand, crampons. And I was just like, wow, we can experience true mountaineering in Southern California. And I remember you expressed to me, like, prior to then, like, yo, I'll bring you up there.
Yeah.
I'll be your guide. I'll make it happen. And I had finally taken you seriously. And you did that for myself, man. So I got to ask you, like, from that day, like, how was it from your perspective, like, guiding me up and also Will for my first winter ascent of Mount Baldy via the Mountaineers route?
I think.
How did I do?
I think personally, you did amazing. You did a great job. I can see in your eyes that you're determined to do this, to get to the top. You're focused and ready to do this, no matter what. And I was here to support you, to guide you. When we got to the ski hut, we were gonna get ready to put our gears ready and everything. I was gonna just showing you to do the self-arrest, just to practice multiple times, just in case something happens for the worst, and just keep practicing. And I'm glad that you did your own research. You're watching YouTube. You told me that you watch YouTube videos.
That's right. I did tell you.
You watch YouTube videos, so you're like already had a mind to. And a mind, an idea of what to do, what to expect.
Getting in the zone.
In the zone, yeah. And then all you just had to do, just practice, sliding down and self-arrest, keep doing it, self-arrest, worst case scenarios. But and putting the crampons, making sure, showing you the right, tying everything.
Oh, you think that was very complicated, by the way. Thank you for teaching how to tighten everything.
Yeah, some people it happens to me when you're first learning to put the crampon. It can be a little like just tying it, and it can come off sometimes. And I have some past experience, like, oh shit, like crampons feeling loose, is coming off, and like, so it's we're all here to learn. No one knows something. You got to learn something, and you just kind of practice for it, and then and that's how I showed you, and then we were ready to go, go up the easiest route up there to the chute. And it was a good time. We got a good alpine start too. We hiked it all night, and then once we got to the ski hut, we watched the sunrise. And then as we were approaching to the the shoot up, I can see Will and you were just all excited, like one step at a time.
Loving life.
Living life is like one step at a time. Just keep going. I just tell them just take one step. And I just tell you just follow my track because there wasn't much track, so I had to like.
I'll just follow you, man.
Just following me, just follow me, just keep going, and I'm just like navigating. Okay, I gotta just make sure this is the easiest route because there's some more technical routes on the far left side.
Was that the easiest route? It felt like a pretty decent route.
It was a decent route. Just a first timer. I mean, you gotta.
See, okay.
Yeah, it was like a little sketchy. That last shoot up. I was going.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, this is real.
Yeah,
it's a real shoot right here.
Yeah, the real shoot. That section we were going. We were catching up those two hikers up there.
Yep.
Those two. They were just like they were slowing down. There was. We caught up to them, and you did great because you caught up to those two hikers. So we did a good pace.
That's wild, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually his name is David Muffin Man.
Oh,
that's
the
him.
Muffin Man.
That's him. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's
him.
David.
I totally know who you're
David
talking about.
Mountaineer, the beer guy.
Yep.
It was him, and
totally.
And then some other girl. I forgot her name, but we met him over the top. But as you were making it up your way to that shoot up that section, I remember taking that video, and it was like, "You got this, Justin." It keep going, and then you made it. You keep going like.
Like huffing and
puffing, nothing stopping me. And then we made it, we rested, we took our time, we just ate something, and then now we're gonna get ready to go up to the summit, And
oh my God, that section from when we took a break to go to the summit, I was like, dear God, this feels like forever.
And it does. Mountaineering, it takes way longer, twice as long as hiking the mountain.
Very true.
That's why they say you have to start like an alpine start early, the better, like midnight, 1 a.m. The earlier the better, so you can just catch the sunrise at a certain section, and you got plenty of time to make it to the summit. So as we made it to the summit, I remember you were just like just going. You're just happy, like just cheering you on, like you got this, Justin. Come on, you got. And then you made it, and you're just like.
I fell on top of the plaque,
and I was like,
oh wait, we couldn't even see the plaque.
Oh no, you just fell down.
That's right.
Yeah, and then because I told him this, it's right here. This is the area because there's that pole sign. That has like which trails there is.
Exactly.
So it has to be around here. But we made it. But then as we were like. We made it, and then I was just trying to dig through and just like trying to find, and then we found it, and I was like, oh, there's the summit right there.
That's how crazy this mountaineering day was. The plaque was covered. We couldn't find it.
We couldn't find it, yeah. So we couldn't find it, and I remember we were just digging and digging and everything. And I remember at the summit, I had a leg cramp. Remember I cramped my leg?
That's right.
I cramped my leg, and I was like, oh.
I was like, we can't lose our leader. We can't lose our fearless leader.
From all the hikes, I really don't get much cramps anymore in my legs. I usually I usually hydrate myself more, or I take salt pills or electrolytes or anything. But I guess that day I just didn't take. I forgot it, and I cramped my leg because I guess I bent down and just cramped like, oh shit, and then I just went back down and just lay down. And he's like, Cisko, you okay? No, I cramped my leg really bad, and I was like. And there's a picture that you took, like just me laying down, like I'm just trying
to. That was
to.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, he can't go out like this. No, we gotta get you off the mountain.
I know. I was
Here's liquid IV. Here's some water.
Yeah, I was like,
Advil.
I was like, give me like 10 minutes, and it's just like I'm just like laying down. I was like, okay, and I was like, oh, yeah, leg cramps are the worst.
Happens to the best of us.
It was funny. So I gotta say, even like even the stronger hiker, something can happen. So don't think I'm like always. Cisko never like hurts himself or anything. Sure. Like I've had some bad like close calls, like almost rolled ankles, leg cramps, or just like so. It's just like it was just funny like it happened to me, but it was an amazing experience. And then we got to share with Will too. He's a badass as well. I mean, he's such a cool.
Tres amigos.
Los tres amigos, yeah, los tres amigos. So
shout outs, Will. Much love to your brother for your support as well.
So yeah, so that was a good time. So I'm happy that you did it, and we just let me know when this winter season. I'll take you again. I'm more than happy to take you. Hit me up.
Oh, I need more training for sure.
More training. I'll help you train for to do that one again, Mount Baldy, and I know that you want to do Iron to Baldy. So I'm here for you too.
That's the one I've been avoiding.
I know.
Iron Mountain to Mount Baldy, aka the San Antonio Ridge Traverse. It'll happen. I'm just really sketched out by down scrambling. But from the bottom of my heart, Cisko, like, thank you for guiding me to the summit of Mount Baldy. via the Baldy Bowl, like
Yeah.
as a mountaineer winter ascent. Like I'm never gonna forget that day.
And
for the
I
rest
like
of my life.
that. It's a special feeling because just like we talked about earlier, like helping someone, for their 1st time doing something they want to do. It's a good feeling because you're watching them doing it. It's like, I remember doing that my first time, so I know exactly the feeling that you're going through, the excitement, the joy, just making it to the summit, how you felt, and it's a special feeling. Like I'm gonna cherish forever. So, I like that. I like helping people. I feel as like hiking community or any community, I think we should help each other. We should bring out the best of each other. We shouldn't be like, be like a hater, oh, you did this, I'm not going to show you this mountain. I'm not going to help you this. Because from my personal experience, when I first started hiking, I seen some other badass hikers, like I'll reach out to them. Hey man, like, oh, that's awesome. You did this. Can I join you? And most of them kind of brush me off. They never want to help me out. And it kind of sucks, because it's like, wonder why. But then I guess I realized people have their own little groups of friends, cliques and that,
Sure.
helping out. But to me, I like to help anyone. I like to meet new friends and just, show them the mountain, what they're capable of. I've taken so many friends doing Iron Mountain for their first time. That's why I have so many summits.
Now it makes sense to
Yeah.
me after you told me also why it means so much.
Yeah,
To you.
it's because when I tell them when they would say they want to take a hike, the first thing I tell them I think of is Iron Mountain. Let's do this one, and then most of them are intimidated. But don't worry, I make sure
I
to
got you. Yeah.
take care of them. So yeah.
You go and see what you're made of
Yeah.
on Iron Day.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I can't wait to ask you this next question since you just have so many countless adventures in the
so many.
mountains.
So many.
So, if there was one hiking or outdoor experience you could relive all over again, what would that be for you, Cisko? And take a moment if you need to.
I would have to say
One hiking or one outdoor adventure.
so many. But I think for me, I would go back doing. I have to say Iron Mountain again. I mean
Iron Mountain,
Yeah.
really?
Iron Mountain.
But a particular day of Iron Mountain?
I think for me, the second year of my mom passing, it was a lot better, the healing. Just doing Iron Mountain on Mother's Day, I just feel more that weekend when I did it, I just felt more healing, more comfort, more therapeutic. I feel that she's always with me. So to me, the second year of my mom passing, going Mother's Day weekend, Iron Mountain alone, and disconnecting, deactivating my social media, it helps a lot just to disconnect.
Yeah, cleanse.
Yeah,
of that.
cleanse all that. Just kind of okay, Mother's Day is coming up. It's time to kind of celebrate her in a special way. So, and I think that's a very healing. And it was a lot better. I wasn't so much depressed, but I just felt the comfort. I felt home. Iron Mountain feels at home to me. So yeah, that's one of my special ones for me.
And that's beautiful, man. That for you to mention that a day that you want to relive is just you
Yeah,
honoring your mom
Yeah.
on Mother's Day
the other day.
on
So
a crazy mountain, Iron Mountain.
on a crazy mountain, yeah. So that would be it, yeah, for that one, relive. So I gotta say that one.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so guess what?
What?
It's time for the rapid fire question section.
Okay.
And so the way it works, round 1 is outdoor focused, and then round 2 is personal.
Okay.
So you ready?
Yes.
You ready, rock steady?
Ready, rock steady.
Had to say it. That's how we do it on the Just Right podcast.
Ready.
Hey, hello.
Hola. Wanna start this?
All right, let's get into it. Favorite trail snack?
Double stuffed Oreo cookies.
Trail runners or hiking boots?
Trail runners.
Desert or deserted island?
Desert.
Waterfalls or lakes?
Lakes.
Rock scrambling or surfing loose scree?
Rock scrambling.
Favorite summit meal?
Very summer meal. I would say a protein bar.
Hardest hike you've done
The hardest hike I've done till this day.
till this date?
The Lone Pine to Whitney to Lone Pine. Yeah.
You made me take off my sunglasses.
Yeah, that one. That's so far, by far right now.
Oh,
till this
man.
day, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
that-
take off my
Yeah,
sunglasses at the moment.
that still
Yeah.
yeah, that was brutal.
All right, dawn or dusk?
Dusk.
Mountain lions or grizzly bears?
Grizzly bears.
Taco Tuesday or Waterfall Wednesday?
Waterfall Wednesdays.
Santa Monica Mountains or San Gabriel Mountains?
San Gabriel Mountains.
San Gabriel Mountains or Eastern Sierras?
Eastern Sierras.
Music artist you want to hike with?
I gotta say the singer from Linkin Park, Chester. May he rest in peace. Yeah.
Man.
Definitely him. I would recommend him.
National park you want to visit the most that you have not already?
Yellowstone National Park.
Is that the one in Montana?
Montana, yeah, north, yeah.
Favorite outdoor brand? Could be local.
For local, I would gotta have to say Traverse, RJ.
Yes.
Shout out to say wearing his
Rocking
shorts.
the shorts.
Yeah,
Shout out
shorts.
Traverse Outdoors.
Shout out
RJ
to
Soria.
Oh, an OG from mine, a friend of mine, and then from like big brands of hiking brand, I gotta say the North Face. The North Face. That's
Yeah,
my
North Face is just like classic, timeless.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, it's the best one for me.
In one word, how does hiking make you feel?
Alive.
What's your ideal outside temperature?
Temperature 41 degrees.
41?
Yeah, 41. I don't like
What,
the heat.
Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit, yeah, 40, yeah. I like the cold. I love the cold weather. I'm not a big fan of the heat. So when it's like cold season, I love that kind of, because it's the perfect temperature, because it's like the 41 degree is like the food temperature. You have to keep your food cold, and it feels perfect to me. 40 degrees, 41. So I should say 40.
I have never got that answer on the Joe's Trek podcast.
I just don't like the heat drains me. I have no energy. When it's winter, I feel stronger. I just love the cold.
You thrive in the cold.
Thrive, yeah. I like wearing jackets and just wearing, going out in the cold. So 41 degree, because I've experienced negative degree cold weathers. So
you're loving it.
So I just love it. So it's just like it's a good weather for me.
All right. Well, that concludes the outdoor section of round one, and then we'll jump into round two. But first, let's cheers real
Cheers.
quick. We're making it to the end.
Salud. Cheers.
Salud. Whew. All right. Round two. You ready?
Yes.
You ready, Rocksteady?
Ready, rock steady.
He said it. Now we're actually ready.
Let's do it.
Favorite comfort food?
My mom used to make crema de lote, which is called cream of corn, Mexican style. So that's crema de. So that was my comfort.
Favorite cartoon show growing up?
The 90s cartoon was Batman, the animated series. And yeah, Batman.
Oh, what a throwback.
Yeah.
Favorite emoji?
I would say I like the devil horns, the hand.
The devil horn?
Yeah, like this one.
Oh, that's such the rocker,
The rocker,
metal person.
yeah, metal
in you.
person. Yeah, I like that.
What's one of your hidden talents?
I'm actually one of my bucket lists trying to learn a new language, Japanese. So
Japanese.
So
okay.
I know Japanese, the basics I can get through. So
Have you been to Japan?
Okinawa, I've been to only Okinawa, but I want to climb the highest mountain in Japan. So
Okay.
Japan.
App you're currently using the most besides Instagram?
I gotta say Strava. Strava is my number one app.
Makes sense.
Strava. I love Strava.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
I would be the tiger, because my Chinese horoscope. I have a tattoo actually here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the tiger, the ear of the tiger. So I would say.
That's really dope.
So yeah, so it represents the fire tiger with the flame. So I would say a tiger for me.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
The 90s. I missed my childhood. Missed the good old days.
Yeah.
Simple days. It's just having fun as a kid. No cell phones. Just going outside, playing with your friends.
Being a neighborhood kid?
Being neighborhood. Yep. Neighborhood. Yeah, kid drinking water from the hose. Coming back late, like when the light comes out, like in
Yes.
the street lights at 9 p.m. Good simple times,
Yeah, we're the same generation.
The
I'm a
same generation. Yeah,
neighborhood kid,
we're
too.
same
Totally
generation.
know exactly what you're talking
Yeah. So I
about.
miss the good old days.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
3 words. I would say loco, which means crazy.
I know what that means.
You'll be
You're
surprised.
talking to me like I don't know what that means.
Loco, and then
All right.
second, I would say strong, and third, emotional. Yeah, loco, strong, and emotional.
There you go.
Yeah.
And here's the final question of the rapid fire question section.
Okay.
Favorite sound?
Actually, the water. I like the water stream, the waterfall streaming. Just like the background you can hear over there, the water, the streaming water. I like that sound. Like when I'm hiking the mountains and I hear the water, it makes me happy because I know I can refill water. It's like a lifesaver.
go.
It's a lifesaver. Like like when I feel like I'm running out of water and I hear the water streaming, I like that sound.
Yeah, it's like that sign of, oh, I'm gonna be okay.
Yes.
Like it's like this comforting.
Exactly.
sound, yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay. So it's saved me multiple times and having a water filter. So I like that sound.
Beautiful.
Comforting, very comfort.
Well, that concludes the rapid fire question section, and now we're pretty much at the end of the episode. And man, what an epic conversation, man.
For the first time, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Letting me, express myself for the viewers and everything. So thank you so much, Justin.
Yeah.
Salamat. Thank you.
Oh, you already know what's up.
Thank you.
My brother.
Thank you.
So before we conclude it all, I always turn the spotlight back to the guest. Is there any final words or thoughts that you want to share with the Just Trek listeners out there? It could be about the outdoors. It also doesn't have to be. Whatever you want your final thought to be.
There's a few shout outs from some friends, some
Okay.
OGs. Got to give a shout out to two OG friends of mine, SD hiker Jason and Daisy, Elements of Daisy, two OG hikers of, we first started hiking. They're still hiking
Elements
to
of
this
Daisy.
day.
Much love to her.
Much love to them. Thank you so much for them being so true friends of mine, being there for me, hiking together. So many great memories with both of them. Everyone, I want to say thank you to Diana, hiking the adventures. She's been a very good friend of mine now, being there, supportive. Everyone that I hiked with from the past, the OG hikers who have come and left, come and go, went on, like that I hiked with, till now. I thank everyone who I've hiked with. I had a great experience, memories, wonderful memories with everyone. Just gotta say, just enjoy life, live life to the fullest. Don't do it for the gram, do it for yourself. Don't do it for the likes, do it for the hikes.
Oh,
like they
wow.
say.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Don't do it for the likes, do it for the hikes. Do it for yourself. Don't get the attention. Just have fun. Don't compete with anybody. Just let's all be like helping and supportive of each other. Bring out the best. So I thank everyone, and just keep at it, and just keep pushing everyone. Enjoy life. So.
Cisko, hiker fighter, behind the Sherpa.
Behind the Sherpa.
Just Trek Podcast. Elevation is our recreation, and we are out.
Peace.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ba, ba, ba.
Oh. Oh, shit.
Wow,
Wow.
we did it. How did it feel?
Thank you. Felt good.